Welcome in everybody, Wildwing 94 here, and we are loaded up into Sweet Transit here. We got a nice series started up here for you. Sweet Transit is all about the trains. We're managing our resources and transporting them around with the trains. Gotta balance our trains, we gotta manage our tracks, and we gotta keep our cities growing. It's a wonderful game. We've been playing it through our Twitch streams. We got about 120 hours in so far. Just can't keep away from it. So we're gonna get you a nice little bite-sized chunk series here. Try to keep it about 15 minutes a pop, something that you can enjoy and not be overwhelmed with. Nice, relaxed. Not gonna get too crazy with making everything as efficient as possible. Nice casual playthrough, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy it. Learn a little bit along the way as we learn a little bit more. This first episode here, we're going to just get into getting a nice map picked out, getting your first city and warehouse set up, and the coal mine and wood production to kind of get you set up and going along. So, music in this game, absolutely wonderful. Sets you up for that nice chill vibe that, you want to enjoy while you're having a nice relaxing game. I would highly recommend playing the tutorial. The tutorial gives you a really good start to the game. Something else that I would highly recommend, as you can see here, I would highly recommend touching these settings down. You get a lot of big mountains that are kind of they kind of overtake the map a little bit. Like down here, this bottom corner, it's a lot of area that's gone, right? So if you take that away, maybe this corner here is not necessarily usable anymore, but you do get a lot of space back, get a lot of areas where you can kind of go through. And the same with the water, a lot more green space. You don't necessarily need those big spanning rivers or anything like that. And I do touch the noise scale and the noise height down just a little bit. That first map that we did play, we left the settings as is, and I think it's a little bit better to touch those down just a little bit. You do need the mountains though. Keep that in mind. You're going to get stone from the edges of that, and your water obviously is going to be where you put your fishing docks. So we are going to do a big old boy. And a couple tips as well with this. You do want to try to find a map, and we'll try to find one here that's got a nice central spot that you can put your warehouse. So something similar to this is going to be good. You don't want water like this cutting you off, because then you're going to have to go around, especially in the early game. This would actually be a pretty good one here. We'd be able to put our warehouse in the middle here. We're going to be able to ship a lot of stuff in from the different areas for the foreseeable future. You will not have any type of bridges that are going to be able to span any type of good distance. So getting around the water like this is going to be kind of a problem. And if you do not have the water scaled down, it's going to be something like this. So again, that's kind of why I tone it down a little bit. You get a little bit more area to build, and we're in this game to build some railroads. So I'm gonna spend a little time, and we're gonna pick a nice map, and I will be back when we have a nice map picked out. Alright, so it looks like we have a map that's going to be suitable for what we want. And we'll go over real quick why. We got a nice spot here that's pretty central that we're going to be able to put our warehouse. That's going to have plenty of room. We're going to have lots of different train stations that are going to go around it. It's going to need a lot of room for different rails coming in and out. So we'll have that space. We're probably going to look at putting our first city down here. So we're going to have room to put some fishing docks that'll allow our population to be fed, and then it'll have plenty of room for expansion afterwards, and we'll be able to get our trains and our stations in and out from there. We have plenty of green space around to put sawmills, and we'll be able to get our sawmill wood to the warehouse pretty quickly. We got some good spots for some additional cities around, right? Doesn't look like we'll be caught in between mountains and rivers. This lighter color is going to be our oil. We should have some bricks around little mountain areas where we should have coal and or bricks and oil. A lot of green space for wheat and potatoes and all of that. So looks like a nice little mixture. We don't have a lot of stuff in the way, so we are going to go with that. These are our factor settings here. So we're going to go ahead and hit generate. We're going to see what we got. Hopefully it works out well. And you'll have to stay tuned, see what we end up with. And it is the maxed out size map, so it will take just a minute to load up. But that way, we've got plenty of room for building trains. So let's just take a look at our resources. Got a lot of coal, we got some bricks. I like seeing those together. Lots of bricks over here. Got a lot of coal up here. Got a lot of coal over here. A lot of coal here. And over here and over here. So, we'd originally talked about putting our first settlement here, which wouldn't be too far for coal, and then our warehouse here, and getting coal, right? And then if we put a sawmill, getting coal there wouldn't be too bad as well. But if we look over here, there is a lot more coal in this general area. And we probably could fit a city right in this area and still be able to ship it into our warehouse area. And we'll still have room for green type things. Maybe we'll put a sawmill down here instead. Just being able to put the distribution center, right? And then hit a lot of these all at once. Like one distribution center is going to be able to hit all of these all at once. So let's get going. We're going to put, and as you'll see, we got to zoom way in to even be able to begin putting it down. So we want to aim for right about here. We're going to put that in, and that's our build limit for our warehouse. And then let's go look at how close a settlement would be hitting up this water. We don't want to be too close, because then things get a little complicated. And a big point to remember is once you unlock bricks, your city footprint is going to expand in the current version of the game, right? This first update that we have, it's going to expand by like 4 or 5 tiles. Don't 100% quote me on that, but it is going to expand quite a bit. So you don't want to come and put it, you know, right like this, because then you're going to lose that expansion off to the side there. So we want to make sure that we got plenty of room. So we might want to look at putting it, over here. So then all of our rails and stuff coming in and out, we're not going to be in conflict with. And your fishing docks will only line up on these flat pieces. So if you're aiming to be over here with the edge, or over here, you're gonna miss out on quite a bit of potential area. But you also don't want to put your spot here, because then you're missing out on a bunch of build area. So I kind of want to look at probably right about here. It's like a nice little spot. When it expands, we'll get a little bit more of that bottom left area. A little bit more of that big one there off to the bottom right. It's probably not a good spot for our trains down to the right. So we might look at moving, putting the city here. So we want to be able to have a train station on all four sides. We're going to be having a lot of trains. We don't want to kind of block ourselves in too much. So we do something like that, we're losing some ground in the middle. If we do something here though, we should be able to kind of do a loop. On the top left, we could come in and kind of loop up and out, and then the bottom right we should be able to get in and out as well. So this was probably going to be a good spot. And then when it expands, we'll be able to get up and down the coast a little bit more. And we got a good amount of fishing spots. So we're going to go ahead and place our first city there. And then this is our build extents. And a good tip is when this starts, is you want to come all the way down, and we're going to build our first station on the very outskirts here. So we're going to start building our houses on the very edge, because our station only has so much that it can reach. And I'll show you here in just a second what I mean by that. So this light blue color will only reach in so far. So only the houses within this light blue color can get to the station and get out to jobs. And when the town expands, then you're going to lose out on a bunch of this space over here. So by planning ahead a little bit, we'll be able to utilize this space down here a lot more. Nudge our station out just a little bit, and we'll be good to go. I also like to, this costs money up front, but there's no upkeep to the station platform, so then you can plan your rails accordingly for later on. You don't have to rip out your entire rail network just to fit in the longer trains. You're gonna have to watch your money a little bit, but it'll be worth it in the long run. Space those out so then everybody has water. And then, so right now you can only put them on the flat pieces. So that's why I was concerned about making sure we get a good spot that has the ability to have a good amount of flat lake area. And throw down a fishing dock, and every fishing dock needs to have a small storage, and the small storage can house up to 5 industries per your city industry. So connect those up. And the game does a good job of having these little locked. Good. And now our next goal is to reach a population of 100. Now I like to keep 50 wood, and 50 wood is because the distribution center is going to be 50 wood. And the distribution center allows us to hook up more than one of our little industries to a station. Otherwise, we're only going to be able to hook up one. So, in reaching our population, usually I can do it without getting too crazy. We now have coal mine, coal storage, and distribution center. So, we are going to come up here, and we're going to go for this group of coal here first. Go into our logistics and the distribution center. It's going to cost 2 upkeep, which we're hopefully going to build a sawmill sooner than later. But now, building our coal mine, we have, so then our road can run right along here. We'll do these two first. So now distribution center is hooked up to one coal mine, and it'll highlight what it is hooked up to. And then our station, as long as our station is touching here, and if you see, it's clear of this. Bring that out, and we're going to line up our station like so, and it's going to automatically know it's coal mine because we already have a coal mine going. I always build one hooked up to the distribution center, and then it'll automatically name it, and then we don't have to go in and name it. Makes things a little bit easier. We shouldn't need storage because it's coal mine. This is for fuel. Cool. So that's set up. And we are going to make a little rail line that comes up and around and in. And connect those two. And I'll do a little back and forth to get us started. And as you can tell, we're up to 951. So our houses, as long as our people are happy, and attractiveness keeps people happy, and attractiveness is determined by these 4 different items. So we got fish to keep our people happy. Our taxes is where we get our wealth from. So keep your laborers up and keep them the items that they so wish. Building the rails is pretty easy. It's not anything too crazy. We're going to go ahead and keep this out of the way because we know that our city is going to expand. We're going to come up and around. Personally, I like these nice right angles, and in order to do that, you're going to bring this up about 2 away. It's going to do just a little turn like this. So you're going to pull it, and that 3rd block out is going to do it. So if you have another rail coming in, you're going to want to be just like this, and then you'll connect it, and it'll keep it clean. It's just a personal preference. You can have lines coming across wiggly however you want. Space saving later on, I think it helps out. When you start having quite a few lines coming in next to each other. It is useful. And I know right there by the station is going to be one of those areas, so I'll like to keep it. As far as the station goes, I always put my in and outs first. That way when I go to put and drag, it's going to stop here and I don't have to go and delete inside the station. And in the beginning here, I'm going to use rail, the chain signals, because it's going to check the entire route to make sure the train can go. Otherwise, you're going to get trains that are going to meet facing each other right here and get stuck. Do not want that. And then they made the signals real nice and easy. Click and hold, and you can drag, space them out. Having a lot of signals like this makes your trains move so much quicker behind each other. When you start having a lot of them, creates the blocks. We'll get some trains on there and I'll explain that. It's better to have a visual. Alright, so we're going to build our train depot. I think right here is probably going to be a nice little spot. It's kind of a weird spot in between two things. So we're going to, as you progress and unlock things, you start to unlock, and one of the unlock things is going to be some more bricks, and we'll be able to build a longer train depot and get more. And again, we're going to put these in here. I like to put them before, anytime you see these yellow ins and outs, put some signals. It'll help your trains out. Alright, we should be ready for our first train. I like to use this little select destination to help with our routes. And then now, this is the way I name things. So I'm going to name it by station, right? Just abbreviation, and then coal mine 1, and then what it is. So this is going to be workers, and then whatever color. I always have my workers. My worker train's one color, so then when we zoom out, all my worker trains are going to be all that blue color. Swap workers, and for time passed, should be good. Let's build us a train. So we do not have a loop, right? It's just one way. So we are going to have to put 2 trains on here. And to do that, right now it's facing all one way. Just right click on it, and you can click flip. And then that's our train. Click build, and it should be on its way. And we'll speed that up so we can see it in action. And it will come down, it will load workers up, and it'll be off and on the way to its destination. And we'll see it got some coal being produced and on its way back. And it will load up on fuel as it is back here. Cool, now we got the sawmill unlocked. It will load up on fuel here since it's being produced there. Awesome. Well guys, we said we were going to keep it bite-sized and easy for you to digest. And there's that blue. So we're going to wrap up today's episode there. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you'll be back for another. The next one we're going to start into our wood production, getting coal delivered around, hooking our warehouse up. If you enjoyed, leave a like, hit that follow button so you can get notified when we drop some more, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Take care, guys.